What's up guys? It's Alex. Winterizing your motorcycle. So it's been cold lately and I actually got a comment this morning from one of you guys about living in a place where it snows like half the year. So that reminded me, there's a lot of places where you can't ride a motorcycle all year round. Even if you want to, no matter how much of a badass you want to be, because of weather or extreme temperatures or whatever reason, you just can't ride a motorcycle all year round. So if you have to put your motorcycle away for a couple of months or several months or whatever, if you have to put your motorcycle away for a while and you're not going to be able to ride it for a while, whether it's winter time or you're going on a trip or you're just not going to be able to ride your motorcycle for a while, right? Several weeks to a few months, okay? You need to winterize your motorcycle. Now, some people put their motorcycles in a garage, some people have a nice heated place to keep them, some people don't. I used to have to keep mine outside, an apartment parking lot under a cover. Regardless, if you're not going to ride your motorcycle for a while, there's a few steps that you need to take, a few things that you need to do to ensure that your motorcycle is taken care of and to make sure that when you can ride it again, you can just get right back on it and get to riding, okay? So, this is how you winterize your motorcycle, and I call it winterize because that's what most people do this for, but still, like I said, if you're going to be taking an extended trip or whatever, you're just not going to be able to ride your motorcycle for a while, this still applies, okay? A couple things you need to take care of. One, your battery. Motorcycles have batteries. Batteries, especially modern batteries, do not like to sit for a long time without being charged, especially if it's cold. That's a double whammy. So if your bike's gonna be sitting for a while, and especially if it's gonna be sitting for a while in the cold, you need to do something about your battery. If you leave it hooked up and you don't ride your bike for a couple months and it gets cold, you might be replacing your battery when it's time to ride again. So, a couple things you can do with your battery. One, the easiest and fastest route is you can just purely disconnect your battery. Make sure it's charged up and then just disconnect your battery completely. That way at least there won't be that small drain on it, but still the cold is going to affect your battery. It's not going to be real good. A better method is to put a trickle charger on it. My favorite one for motorcycles being the battery tenders. They're everywhere, they're easy. Comes in two parts. If you get a battery tender for your bike, it'll come in a part that plugs into the wall and it'll come in a part that plugs into your battery. You just get to your battery wherever it is on your motorcycle. Some of them are under the seat, some are behind covers. Based on your bike, figure out where your battery is. The end that goes on the battery, you'll just take your terminals off. It'll have two little eyelets on it, positive and negative, red and black. Put those on your battery on the appropriate terminals. Put everything back together. Then you'll have a line hanging off your battery. The end that plugs into the wall will have one end on it. The end that plugs into your battery will have an end on it. Put those two together when it's time to charge them. That way, you just leave the one end on your bike and it's super easy. You just, when it's time to ride it, you just disconnect it from the wall, disconnect the little things from each other, you're good to go. When you take it back wherever you're gonna have it, you plug them back in. If you got a garage or something, it's super easy. If you're out in a parking lot, you might have to run an extension cable or something. I don't know, you guys are gonna have to figure that part out, okay? So that's the best way to take care of your battery. At least if you're not gonna ride for a while, completely disconnect your battery. If you can possibly afford it for like 20, 30 bucks or whatever they are, just get a battery tender for it, plug it into your battery, plug it into your motorcycle, good to go, okay? That'll help take care of your battery. Second huge thing that you have to do, that you really need to do to take care of your motorcycle if you're not gonna ride it for a while, and this is hugely important if you have a carbureted motorcycle. Fuel injected bikes, it's still really helpful, but especially if you have a carbureted motorcycle. In the modern age of having fuel that's full of ethanol and how bad ethanol is for carburetors when it sits and breaks down gas, you need to put some fuel stabilizer in your motorcycle. If it's gonna sit for a while, you need to put fuel stabilizer in it. I think the top brand being Stabil, there are other brands, fuel stabilizer. Read the directions on the back of the bottle for how much of it to add, for how many gallons of gas. For the average motorcycle, like if you get the smaller bottle of Stabil, for the average motorcycle, if you fill your tank up, one bottle of Stabil and a full tank of gas is gonna get it done. That varies a little bit. There's 2-gallon gas tanks, there's 6 or 7-gallon gas tanks on some big touring motorcycles. So read the directions on the back of the bottle, add the appropriate amount of fuel stabilizer to your tank for how many gallons are in there, and that will help protect your gas and keep it from breaking down while a motorcycle's sitting around. If you have a carburetor, that is going to save your ass, okay? If you have a carburetor on a motorcycle and you don't put fuel stabilizer in there and you let it sit for a few months, chances are when you go to ride your motorcycle again, your carburetor's gonna be gummed up, you're gonna have a bad day, you're gonna be cleaning carburetors. Nobody wants that, okay? Still good to do for fuel injected bikes. I do it to mine. If my bike's gonna be sitting for a while, which Here, unless it snows, you can arguably ride year round if you're kind of tough about cold weather, but I still do it to my fuel injected bikes too, okay? So, fuel stabilizer. Pick up some fuel stabilizer. Anywhere that you can get motorcycle oil and all that kind of stuff is gonna have it. Even auto parts stores, you should be able to get Stabil and all those like other good fuel stabilizers from auto parts stores too. I'm sure like Lucas makes one, all those kind of guys make one, but I just use Stabil because we carry it and it works, okay? So take care of your battery, take care of your fuel, okay? If you have a water-cooled bike, if you have an air-cooled bike, this step's not so necessary for you, but if you have a water-cooled motorcycle, check your coolant, make sure it's nice and bright and clean looking and you'll be fine, okay? Your motorcycle coolant's gonna be bright green. If you use Moto Chill or one of those, it might be bright blue. I have seen a bright orange one before, but they're not that common, but it's gonna be a very bright color like that. Just make sure your coolant looks nice and bright and looks lively. You know, if it's all like dull and kind of crappy looking or dirty looking, or you see like little traces of like rust and stuff in it, change your coolant. If your coolant looks nice and bright and fresh and everything, you should be good to go. If it's been a couple of years, if you've had your bike for a while and you just know you need to change your coolant or have your coolant changed. Point being, if you have a liquid cooled, water cooled bike, make sure your coolant is good. Check your coolant, okay? Other than that, you should be pretty much good to go. You know, battery, take care of your gas. If your bike has coolant, make sure it's got fresh coolant in it. That way your bike will stay nice and protected and fresh through the winter months, or for whatever reason you're not riding it. And then when you go to ride it again, you'll be good to go. You won't have to clean carburetors and replace batteries and all this kind of stuff when the weather warms up or when you're just able to ride your bike again. Okay, guys? Just want to go through that real quick. It's something that's kind of like I take for granted, it's self-explanatory to me, but I realize a lot of people don't understand. Like, if you're not going to ride a bike for several months, it's really good to do these things just to make sure your bike stays fresh and ready to go, okay? That's it. I'm Alex. Take it easy. Peace.